There are 6 basically RFAs next year for those who aren't aware. That's DeBrincat, Gambrell, Pinto, Gauthier, Bernard Docker, Brannstrom. I expect them all to be back. The issue, as you brought up, Yorkie, is in goal, where they're not sure who's going to be behind Anton Forsberg. Is it going to be Matt Sogard, or are they going to have to find somebody? I think they got to find somebody. I'm just not sure someone's out there if they can't do it unless it's a trade.
Before you get into this, how much cap space does that leave this team? This roster on the ice, how much cap space would that give them?
Well, they're going to be a cap team. Right now, I think they have $14 million left to sign DeBrincat and Pinto, Gambrell, Gauthier, Bernard Docker, and Brannstrom.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that may play a part in Matt Sogard, who's only at, I think, 9 something to be in the lineup. Like Bernard Docker, Brannstrom, Gauthier, Gambrell are all relatively inexpensive. Although Brannstrom is going to require, I think, a couple $1 million to get him signed, but maybe I'm wrong.
And you're going to have some money next season. Sanderson's up, correct? So you're going to have to give a whopping contract to Sanderson next summer that I think you got to be cognitive of, because that's not going to be cheap.
Yeah.
And they talked about, well, Pierre did hint we need to get somebody signed this summer, and I would sound like that's going to be, they're going to try and get Sanderson done.
Yeah. That's priority number one. That is, to me, priority number one. Get him locked in as soon as possible, because his price ain't coming down.
Yeah, as I'm knocking on his door every day right now.
Hello.
Yeah, sign this, please, before you have another bomb of a season.
So at the goaltending one is, they need better goaltending. Where again, Pierre said yes at the beginning of last season, we need to be at .916 save percentage. Well, that would put you at the top 2 in the league. They finished the league at they finished the league 20th in save percentage at .895, I think it was. They need to find goaltending to get them through this, because if there's no goaltending, everybody's talking about why this team struggles.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bob.
No, I agree. I didn't realize Talbot was 17-4-2. I thought it was. I didn't think it was that good.
That might be a
but
typo.
I agree.
That's a typo. I think it's 17.
That's a typo.
Okay, I was like, "There's no way." So,
what the hell?
I didn't see him. Was he on the Vezina board? I didn't see that.
Yeah,
anyway,
14. No.
Okay, so you got to find the guy to play before. To me, you got to go. But if you have $14 million in cap space and you're committing $9 million right out of the gate to DeBrincat, which it's like they're going to do, I mean, I don't think you have a choice. You need to have a goalie in the 1-1.5 range, and Sogard Sogard fits that bill. So, and he's proven that he can play it, and I think he'd be he's a very respectable backup, don't you think?
I do.
You know, at least in my mind. So I think they're gonna go into the season with this tandem and hope for the best. And it's not a 1A, 1B situation. You commit to Forsberg, provided he plays well, and then let Sogard come in on back-to-backs and nights where the team should win, I guess. You know, you look at those games against Columbus, or you picking a team. I hope Columbus fans aren't listening, but you're looking at a Columbus and you're thinking, here's a night to give our guys some rest, and you throw in Sogard, and I think he can be a very respectable backup, especially at 925.
The goal.
One sec. Cap friendly has him at, they have 16 million in projected cap space at the moment. So but that you still have to put in a $9 million term for Alex DeBrincat.
Just to me, if you're looking at this and you're thinking there's the money to DeBrincat, and you got excuse me, and you have what you have left over, and Pinto, Gambrell, and Gauthier, and you know these other guys eat up a little bit. What do you have left? 1.5 to 2? Are you really getting an upgrade to spend the extra $1 million on a guy that you're already pegging as a backup because you have your starter, your 1A? Do you bring in a guy for $2 million that might get you a little bit more than Sogard can give? I don't know if it's worth it. I don't think I would do it. I think I would ride it out and see how they start, and then you can address it as it goes.
The goaltending position in the NHL, it's not like it used to be. And everybody thinks you got to have this proven guy. Well, Just look what Minnesota's doing this year. We just watched Gustafsson last night go two double overtimes and win a game. Like, nobody, you just don't know with goaltenders until you see them go. And there's example, and everybody thought New Jersey was going to be a mess this year, and they went into the scrap heap this summer, and they got Vanacek out there. Toronto's starting the playoffs with not really a legitimate number one. I think we're going to get a clearer picture as the playoffs go, and this is the luxury Ottawa has. They can watch and see how the playoffs play out with a lot of goaltenders that really aren't household names or legitimate starters. Look at Georgiev, or whatever you want to call him. Is it Gurgiev or Georgiev? Look at him in Colorado.
Georgiev.
Like, it's not like the old days when you had Martin Brodeur and Patrick Waugh. It's the goaltending position has really changed. Look at another one. Antti Ranta was a backup in Arizona, and man, I'd like to have him as my starter.
Alex Lyon.
So Alex Lyon. So I just don't think that guy exists. Like, I've heard Gibson's name thrown around, but he hasn't been great the last couple of years. So I like how Sogard played and battled late in that season. I wouldn't mind seeing how he starts off the season. And I think Forsberg's a really good goaltender. He was starting. I thought he was really starting to string some good games together before he got hurt. Yeah. And with the double leg injury. So it's different now. And the one thing I would spend a little money on those bottom two lines, I think you need a good player to spend some money to go on that third line. If I'm going to save a little bit of money, I'm going to put somebody that can play with Pinto on that third line. I don't think like, I know Riley Gregg's punched in there. To me, he's going to be a good player. I don't know if he's a full-time NHLer yet. He looks like he still needs a lot of things to work on. You look at Joseph. Potentially Joseph's a guy I'd maybe move out and try and upgrade at that position. And that's the thing. And that's the danger. If you go and pay $9 million to DeBrincat, what's that leave you for your third line? What's that leave you? If I wouldn't mind seeing another defenseman come in, another really good defenseman that you can plug in, and you know what you're going to get from this guy. So it's you've already got a lot of money committed to Tkachuk, Stützle, Giroux, Norris, Batherson's on a great contract. Pinto, you're going to have to re-up eventually. So, man, it's if you want to be a team that's going to make some noise in the playoffs and not just qualify for the playoffs, but to make some noise in a couple years, you got to be careful about committing a huge dollar amount to DeBrincat.
Yep.
They need a veteran on that fourth line or in that bottom six. I'd like them to see a veteran player presence.
Well, Wally, watch.
I would love to see him back.
Watch the playoffs. Every single year in the playoffs, it's the third line. It's the third line that is so important in the playoffs. You got to have a presence on your third line if you're going to be a legitimate team in the playoffs. And that's something that maybe they develop it in-house. Maybe one of their young guys grows into one of those roles. But, man, you keep seeing it every year in the playoffs. It's teams that spend money and have some experience on the third line win.